thank you so much for continuing to watch my story. Here we are on another webisode of my story of my life, my version of how my life went. So remember, it's not a true story, but it's my story. So anyway, my story. Oh my goodness, where was I at? I was telling you how I was trying to manifest a man and how I was doing everything that I could to bring him to me. And during this time, I really was not, I don't know, it wasn't easy. I feel like I need to emphasize that. This was such a tough time in my life with a toddler and a baby and all alone and in a whole nother state. And oh my goodness, it wasn't an easy time in my life. I did end up calling a hotline, and I got diagnosed with postpartum depression. There was a time with my baby. I mean, she never slept, and she cried so much, and I worried about her being with the daycare worker more than anything. She was about 5 months old whenever we started her there, and they did say that she took a bottle for them. She never took a bottle for me. I mean, she was purely breastfed, and she would not even take a bottle, not even a breast milk. I would pump, and it didn't help. She would only latch on, that's it, or starve, and she would cry a whole lot. And I loved her to death, though. But oh my goodness. And I was back living at the apartments, and I had my old job back. I was a manager. I loved working with these two girls. They were so great. And it wasn't easy. I can't stress that enough, to go get groceries. I had to unload my toddler and keep an eye on her because she was a wild child, and I had to unload my baby in her car seat and go one flight of stairs at a time, all the time, all the time. And I was alone. I had nobody to help me. And I did start dating more, and I just, I knew one day that my husband would walk through the doors of Old Time Photo. And it's like, it's so crazy because there was no indication that that would happen. And I remember my coworker, she was like, "You are such a flirt." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." But yeah, I remained optimistic. I really did. I felt that it would happen, one day. And the one guy that I was dating during this time, he had bought me a bed so that I had my own bed. I had a futon couch in the living room area, and then I had my own bed in the bedroom. And I did start dating this other guy who was really, really wealthy. And I was dating this other guy who was not wealthy at all, but I would talk to him for hours and hours and hours. And, he agreed that he was physically attracted to me and I was him, but he was not ready to be a father. So I was dating quite a few guys during this time. I wanted to keep my options open. The one guy who I was pretty sure I was just his booty call. He would only call me at like 10 o'clock at night occasionally. And if I asked him if I'm just his booty call, he would be like, no, 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 I want a relationship. But he's the one that bought me a bed. So that was really cool. And I don't know. I was working at work, and my kids were going to daycare. My kids I was so grateful for the daycare that they had. My oldest daughter was a climber, wild child. And at this place, they let her embrace her wild child. And they had this climbing thing that you would go up to this nook and you could just read. And they said that's where she liked to spend most of her days, was up there. If not trying to get on the computer for computer time because everybody wanted computer time. But yeah, so that's really cool. I was really happy with where my daughter was, and she was potty trained, and my baby was also able to take food there, so that was really cool. They worked with me with, I only wanted to introduce one food at a time so we could catch food allergies, which with my second baby, it's a good thing because we did catch some food allergies. But yeah, so I'm working at Old Time Photo, and it's one of our busiest days. It is so busy, and it's one person after another, and each one of us, each worker was assigned to a group of people, and we were just going all the way through the whole process with our group of people, trying to sell them the pictures and everything, taking their pictures, dressing them up for the pictures, taking the pictures, and then trying to sell them the pictures, and then going to the next group of people, because it was just so busy that day, and we were just so swamped. And I was working with a family, really nice family, and in comes two boys. I want to say men, but two soldiers, and they're just goofing off. They're high. I didn't know this, but they were high on Corsedins and on cough medicine, and they're just goofing off. And I'm focused on my family. I don't see them, and then one of my girls gets them, and they're wanting to wear a dress, and she's like in shock. She doesn't know what to do because I'm like the one who trains her, and the owner's there. She's also with a family. She comes up to me and she says, "Trade with her. She doesn't know what to do. You go handle these boys." And I was like, "All right, got it." And so she took over for the family, and I went to the boys, and of course I explained to them. I was like, it would be so much fun for you boys to be in our dresses, but our girls like to look really nice, and in order to get them their nice physique, we can't let the boys stretch out their dresses, okay? We don't have your big burly boy size in girl dresses, but we can do something really fun. Now, it's really interesting because when the owner pointed at them, I saw them immediately, and I was attracted to both. Both of them were just sexy men. And I was like, okay. And I was like, this is it, And she whispered in my ear, "Get them out of my store. They're not going to buy anything." And so I did not get them out of the store. I was like, I understand that you want to be in a girl dress, and I mean, I get it. You don't want just some normal cowboy photo, right? You want something fun. And I was like, what if we mix things up, because here we have 1920s gangster, we have the Indian man, we have the cowboy, we have different things. What if we did, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was the 1920s gangster with a cowboy background, and I think we had him as an Indian or something crazy. And they were like, yes, we want to do this. And well, actually at first one of the guys was like, "Will you undress me?" And I was like, "I will be the one dressing you, yes, because I will be the one dressing him, but I won't I'll undress him at the end." I was like, "And if you want assistance, I'll happily help." And he was like, "Okay then." So I get them back there, and of course I'm dressing them up, I'm putting them in their stuff, and I take the picture, and I sell them each 2 8x10s, which impressed the owner. But I almost sold them a frame also. But at the place, we're not allowed to take tips. There was a tip jar. We encourage people to put tips in the tip jar, and the owner, all the tips belong to her. Like, I don't care. Whatever policy is the owner's policy is the owner's policy. I never cared about that. But this dude was like, "You did such a great job. Can I give you a tip?" And I was like, oh, we're not allowed tips here. Now, that's the owner's policy, but I'm going to handle it my way. If you're not going to allow me to have tips, then I'm not allowed to have tips, I'm going to let the customers know that wasn't allowed either. But, and my coworker looked at me like all shocked because, you're supposed to say, here's the tip jar. But no, what I said, and normally I will say, here's the tip jar. But what I said is, I'm not allowed a tip here. And he goes, oh, well, what if I take you out to eat for a tip? And I was like, deal. And so I gave him my phone number. I wrote it down and moved on with my life and continued on with my life. And a week later, my mom, I had just gone on a date and it was another fumble date, did not work out, and this was the date with the rich guy, and there was no chemistry there, you guys. He was like wanting to get me my own house. He was like, you don't even have to live in the same house as me, you can live next door to me. And I don't know. It was an awesome restaurant that he took me to, this melting pot place, and it was pretty cool. But there was no chemistry there. But I had my mom watching my girls so that I can go on that date, and then after that, I went home, and my mom, her best friend was a gay man, and they were going to a gay parade, and so I was like, take the girls to the parade, and I'll meet you there towards the end of the parade and pick them up. And so what I was doing there in that time was cleaning my apartment and getting my apartment clean because it needed cleaned so bad. It was so nasty, y'all. So bad because, I'm just working and come home and letting the girls do whatever and working and coming home and just coming home with the girls is work, so it was really bad. And I was cleaning, and I remember because I was taking out the trash and carrying this big bag of trash to the freaking dumpster out at the apartment complex, and I get a phone call, and it's him, and he wants to take me out to eat. And I was like, yeah, but I'll have my girls this afternoon. Because I was thinking, there's no way mom will let me go on another date. And he's like, that's fine, you can bring them. And he's like, I'll bring my boys. And I was like, oh, no, my daughters, my kids. And he was like, oh, that's okay, that's fine, you can bring them too. So I made a date to meet up with him that afternoon after I pick up the girls to go to Chili's out to eat. So that's where we will be picking up next time, is the date. And I thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are a gem, especially all of you that make it to the end of my videos. I hope you're enjoying the story. I try to make it interesting. It was my life and it seems boring, but I know not everybody lived a life like mine. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for being here. And as always, be blessed with love. That's all she got.